Disclaimer: our true crime channel presents real-life stories that may contain graphic content, sensitive topics, and distressing details. Viewer discretion is advised. All cases discussed are based on publicly available information and should not be interpreted as endorsements or glorification of criminal behavior or to the guilt or innocence of persons discussed. 27 years have passed since the 6-year-old body of JonBenét Patricia Ramsey was discovered in the basement of her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. The young beauty pageant queen had been beaten and strangled. No one has been found guilty of the murder to date, but theories have circulated for decades. The discovery on the morning of December 26, 1996, shook the community to its core, and the case captivated the nation's attention almost immediately. It remains one of the most notorious unsolved crimes in the United States, and the circumstances surrounding her murder have inspired numerous books, documentaries, and television specials. Some emphasized the facts, while others emphasized their opinions. These stinging opinions would hit straight into the Ramsey's family orbit. In 2016, Burke Ramsey, JonBenét's brother, appeared on Dr. Phil's episode, JonBenét Ramsey's Brother Finally Breaks His Silence. What did the secret interrogation tapes reveal? During the interview, he disclosed that he was aware that his family members were suspects in the crime. In his first ever television interview, he told Dr. Phil, "I know people think I did it, that my parents did it. I know that we were suspects." According to him, he has always believed that a pedophile who watched his sister perform killed her. He said that he was speaking out at that time to honor her memory. "I don't want anyone to forget." Burke Ramsey concluded the interview by saying that the media would no longer hear from him and that he intended to live a peaceful life. Burke's wish lasted exactly 2 weeks. On the 18th and 19th of September, a mini-series aired on CBS titled The Case of JonBenét Ramsey. CBS's contracted team of investigators examined a 911 recording that continued to play after Patsy Ramsey believed she hung up the phone.
911 emergency. We need him. Police. What's going on? 5515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping.
The team believed they heard John Ramsey say, "We're not speaking to you," and Patsy asked, "What did you do?" on the phone call. The CBS investigators believe they were talking to Burke. The CBS's crew recreated a life-size replica of JonBenét's home and conducted their own investigation using reports from the night of the murder. Based on the evidence obtained, including police reports from the time of the homicide, they ruled out the possibility of an intruder breaking into the residence. The conclusion of the miniseries revealed that the CBS investigators believed Burke Ramsey murdered his sister. The renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Werner Spitz, who was featured in the miniseries, concurred with this conclusion. If you really use your free time to think about this case, you cannot come to a different conclusion. Spitz said, "It's the boy who did it." Dr. Spitz is a heavy hitter in the realm of forensic pathology. Included in his resume are the investigations of the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. He also testified at the trials of Casey Anthony and Phil Spector and the 1996 civil trial against O.J. Simpson. But why would Spitz and others suspect JonBenét's 9-year-old brother of murdering her in such a gruesome fashion? In this video, Bad Things is going to give you why Burke could have done it and why Burke couldn't have done it. For the record, we think he is innocent, as we have stated in our previous video on the case. Why Burke could have done it. According to the following evidence, JonBenét's brother Burke may have severely injured JonBenét during a temper tantrum. Assuming JonBenét was already dead, or knowing she had been mortally wounded, her parents murdered her and covered it up. Burke's fingerprints were discovered by the police on a bowl of pineapple which was found on the kitchen counter. Pineapple was one of JonBenét's favorite treats, and the fact that it was discovered in her intestines during the autopsy indicates that she consumed some shortly before her death. Patsy Ramsey maintains she did not prepare the children a pineapple snack. Some believe Burke shared a pineapple midnight treat with JonBenét before her death, or that JonBenét ate some of Burke's snack, resulting in a temper tantrum that led to JonBenét's death. When queried about the pineapple during an interview about the murder, young Burke shields his mouth, one of the most common indicators that someone is concealing information. When a minor is murdered, he or she is statistically most likely to be murdered by an immediate family member. In conjunction with John Ramsey's statement, "We're not speaking to you," and Patsy asking, "What did you do?" some experts believe they can hear Burke's voice inquiring, "What did you find?" on the 911 phone call. According to Patsy Ramsey, Burke stayed in bed until later in the morning. When John Ramsey learned that JonBenét was dead, he said, "It has to be an inside job." While this does not implicate Burke, it is certainly odd and more consistent with the family covered-up theory than the intruder theory. Strangely, when John Ramsey discovered the body of his daughter and carried her up the stairs to the police, he did not cradle her, but instead held her away from his body. One of the detectives remembered seeing this and having a strong sense that one of the family members was responsible for her murder. Burke has difficulty communicating without smirking, which many believe is a form of duper's delight. Duper's delight is the satisfaction of being able to manipulate someone, which is often manifested by displaying an inappropriate smile. Burke was known for harboring animosity towards his younger sister. According to the housekeepers, he defecated in her bed and smeared his excrement on her Christmas gifts and bedroom walls. Judith Miller, a family confidant, remarked, "Burke had a bad temper. He had hit JonBenét. He hit her with a golf club." When asked about this incident, the Ramseys explained it away as an accident. In an interview with Burke 18 months after the murder, the then 11-and-a-half-year-old describes sleeping through the crime, highlighting that he sleeps really deeply and never hears anything. The author, former New York State prosecutor and former FBI profiler Jim Clemente commented, "When he says really deeply and never hear anything, that's overselling. That's deceiving." After reviewing Burke's other video interviews, Clemente appeared troubled by his behavior. In reference to Burke's demeanor in an interview shortly after the murder, Clemente stated, "I haven't seen any indication yet that this child has been through recent trauma." One of Clemente's colleagues remarked, "It's odd that he's acting it out," after watching a video of Burke reenacting the murder by striking the victim on the head with a hammer. Clemente continued, "On top of it, there is no emotion, no appropriate emotion at all about this happening to his sister." The dominant hypothesis that emerged from the CBS Group investigation was that Burke killed his sister out of anger and possibly the constant attention shown towards her due to her pageant career. Former investigator James Kohler stated, "I think the Ramseys came home around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Patsy remained downstairs with Burke and served him the tea and pineapple. She got JonBenét up, and then I think she was up and awake enough that maybe she would still be hungry, and she went downstairs. I think if Burke was upset about circumstances, he would have been upset about her taking a piece of pineapple. He would have hit her with a flashlight." The investigator then discussed the possibility of a cover-up on the part of the parents, stating, "She said that they loved their children. They would do anything for their children. She said she would have nothing else to live for if she lost Burke. That seemed to me motive to cover up for Burke." Clemente concurred, saying, "This is consistent with what the grand jury had wanted to indict them for. It's my opinion that the Ramsey family did not want law enforcement to resolve this case, and that's why it remains unsolved." Why Burke couldn't have done it. The evidence that an intruder killed JonBenét is so overwhelming that it seems inconceivable that Burke or his parents could have planted any of this evidence or covered up an accidental family tragedy. There was an open window, a shoe imprint on the wall below the window, and a suitcase placed under the window in the train room. This indicates that someone may have entered through the window and placed the suitcase there to make their way out after committing a crime. The suitcase also had a high-tech shoe print on it. John Ramsey had previously broken the same window when he locked himself out of the house. After Ramsey locked himself out of the house, the Ramseys hid a key beneath a rock on the front veranda. The morning of the murder, the key was missing. On the morning of the murder, it was discovered that the butler door, which is situated in the back of the kitchen, was left open. A flashlight was found on the kitchen counter. The flashlight did not belong to the Ramseys. A canvas suitcase was discovered in the home's crawl space. A fragmentary boot print was discovered on top of the toilet tank in the northeast bathroom of the basement, near the crawl space. Investigators discovered a high-tech boot print and a red pocket knife that did not belong to the Ramseys in the wine cellar where JonBenét's body was found. Another unknown footprint was also discovered, indicating that there could be two offenders. A neighbor discovered a latex glove in their alley's garbage can. A pubic hair of unknown origin was discovered on the blanket that partially covered the body. The waistline of her long johns was used to capture forensic evidence using the innovative touch DNA technology. The DNA found under her fingernails matched DNA found elsewhere. This DNA did not match any Ramsey family member. Unidentified palm prints were discovered near the wine cellar door where the body was later discovered. On the evening of the murder, neighbors reported seeing a dark van located across the street from the Ramsey residence. DNA and urine from an unidentified male were discovered in JonBenét's undergarments. Burke's baseball bat was found outside of the house. Burke has said that this was not out of the ordinary. He typically left it there. The bat had carpet fibers from the cellar carpet, indicating that it had recently been in the basement. No fingerprints, not even Burke's, were discovered on the bat. This implies that the bat was recently cleaned. The ransom note was written with a pen and notepad found in the home. This might suggest that one of the family penned the ransom note. It could also indicate that an intruder used the items. The pen was fingerprint-free, and the notebook was missing 7 pages of practice notes that were never recovered. The fact that they were never recovered suggested to some that they were taken by an intruder. Some believed that this was evidence against the Ramseys. There is speculation that Patsy was the author of the kidnapper's note. 2 sets of handwriting experts were brought in to compare Patsy's handwriting to that of the ransom note. Both parties agreed that there were no similarities, but not enough to conclusively identify the author. A scale is used to measure the likelihood that the author wrote the document. A 1 indicates that the individual unquestionably authored the text, while a 5 indicates that there is no way they could have written it. Patsy graded between 4.2 and 4.5. A rope in a brown paper bag was discovered under the bed in the guest room. JonBenét's bed contained remnants of the rope used for the garrote used to kill her. The coroner determined that JonBenét's intestines contained cherries and grapes, in addition to the pineapple discovered in the bowl. This negates the pineapple temper tantrum theory. Patsy, John, and Burke provided samples of their hair, blood, saliva, and handwriting on 3 separate occasions. All members of the Ramsey family, as well as 200 other potential suspects, were ruled out as the murderer. The touch DNA was traced to an unidentified male, the same male whose DNA was discovered in 2 bloodstains found in the 6-year-old's undergarments. Throughout the investigation, law enforcement and the detectives did not follow the evidence. They searched for evidence that supported a theory that the Ramseys or Burke were responsible. In their pursuit of the Ramsey family, investigators disregarded other potential suspects. One witness reported seeing a man approach JonBenét at a beauty pageant. When the man saw the woman watching, he introduced himself as JonBenét's father. The woman reported this after discovering she had been murdered and what the child's biological father looked like. 3 houses away from the Ramseys, an incident occurred around the time of the homicide. A mother was awakened by her child's screams. A man disguised as a ninja ran down the hallway and out the front door as the woman ran towards her daughter's bedroom. The young girl had been sexually assaulted by the assailant. The media never reported on this, and the police never investigated the incident as a link to the Ramsey murder. The 2016 interview with Dr. Phil stirred controversy and renewed theories about Burke. Burke smiles and laughs hesitantly throughout the entire interview. According to some, this showed that he murdered his sister. According to those who are close to Burke, this is his typical behavior. He had never given a public interview before and was apprehensive and shy. We need to consider when watching an interview such as this one that Burke and his parents have been under constant scrutiny since he was 9 years old. Burke Ramsey in no way had a typical childhood. Was his demeanor not appropriate for a crime that took place 20 years before the interview? Do you think Burke killed his sister? If you love our content and want to support the channel, feel free to check our web shop where you can find exclusive true crime merch brought to you by Bad Things.